The Pope's return trip from Greece to Rome was marked, as usual, by a press conference with the journalists who accompany him on his visits. As it usually happens, this press conference gives more from the informative point of view than in the speeches of the pontiff in the country or countries he visits. On this occasion, of course, the press conference has given much, to the point that some words of the Pope have had to be suppressed from the official report by the Vatican's own information services. Referring to the dismissal or acceptance of the resignation of the now former Archbishop of Paris, Monsignor Apetit, the Pope said that, well, Bishop Apetit had some slips with caresses and some more than caresses with his secretary, and that this had been the cause that had prived him of honor when it had been made public, and for which he had to accept his resignation because it was now impossible for him to govern the diocese. The reference to the secretary had to be deleted because it violated or could be a cause of violation and even of a denunciation of the secretary's dishonor, because up to that moment nobody knew who the lady was who had or had been a victim of or had consented to the caresses of the former Archbishop of Paris. But unfortunately, this has overshadowed or obscured other very interesting things that the Pope has said in this press conference. He has spoken, he has made reference to the attempt of the community of the European Union to suppress the word Christmas in the official greetings due to Christmas. Well, I spoke about this very subject last week before knowing that the Pope was going to make reference to it in this press conference, and also in the same sense that I had said it. That is to say, secularism is rampant throughout the West, not only in the European Union, and it is rampant, cornering more and more Christians and establishing a persecution that, if it is not bloody at the moment, it is a real persecution. The Pope said that the European Union, which is what he was talking about, must never become an instrument that indoctrinates the member states, but they must respect the freedom of each of these states and their particularities, their own culture. This is really very important. Well, this colonizing, ideologizing action of the European Union, which is common to the whole West on the part of certain governments, says the Pope, well, this can destroy the European Union itself, because it is going to increase the rejection of this union, the rejection of those secularist bureaucrats who want to impose their aggressive points of view against religion. And I believe that this is the core of the problem. How this secularism is acting when it comes to power, when it has the opportunity to govern. This week, also the Cardinal of Valencia, Bishop Cañizares, in the homily of the Mass celebrated at the Catholic University of Valencia on the occasion of the Solemnity of the Immaculate Conception, spoke about this issue and said that we Christians Catholics, we have no problem in respecting the points of views of others, but added, it is they, those who see life differently from us and whom we respect, it is they from whom we ask freedom and respect to live according to our own convictions, to freely propose our way of seeing things without anyone being threatened or our presence being interpreted as an offense or as a danger to the freedom of others. We respect that others see life differently? Why don't they respect us? Secularism has come to power hand in hand with the tolerance that we Christians have practiced and allowed. And when it comes to power, when it has come to power, it becomes an intolerant dictatorship that attacks in any way or another those who do not think like them. We have to think like them, act like them, and even vote the way they want us to vote. Woe to you if it occurs to you to vote for a party which is recognized by the laws of the country, if it occurs to you to vote for that party that they consider anti-democratic, which it is not because it is legalized, or that they consider conservative. Well, if you're conservative, you're lost. You are a human garbage. You have to think like them, act like them, and vote for whom they want you to vote for. Otherwise, you are insulted, attacked, persecuted. This is a continuous rain. This is a deluge. All day long, aggressions are happening against Christian thought and against the actions of Christians, even against Christian culture. As a sample is enough a button, and really it is not as a sample is enough a button. In a town near Madrid, San Lorenzo del Escorial, for years they have been making a monumental nativity scene, a monumental birth of Jesus, which apart from being very beautiful, also served to attract tourists to the town because it is very striking. It is of cultural interest. Well, as soon as it was put up, one of these freedom-loving secularists went and took the baby Jesus and smashed it. This may seem like the action of an extremist, the action of a madman, the action of an isolated secularist, but first of all, this is not an isolated case. Secondly, those who are in his line, and above all the political leaders, never condemn these attacks, and if you hurry, they even justify in the name of freedom. They justify the attacks against Christians or against Christian thought or against Christian culture in the name of freedom. We do not even have the freedom to put up a nativity scene, I repeat, which is, in this particular case, is a town near Madrid, is a cultural act of enormous artistic value. They can think, say, do whatever they want, vote for whomever they want, and we do not. This secularism, this increasingly aggressive and intolerant secularism, what it's trying to do is to impose a dictatorship. The true democracy, the democracy where freedom exists, that the freedom that we offer, as Cardinal Cañizares said, and that we apply to reality, respecting to those who see life in a different way, because what secularism wants is to impose a dictatorship and deprive us of true freedom. Cardinal Cañizares also said in the conclusion of his homily, faith in God does not limit freedom, but enhastens it. Faith in God enhastens freedom. On the other hand, secularists reduce and suppress it. In view of the way things are, it must be said that secularism is synonymous today and will be more and more synonymous with dictatorship. If you love freedom, leave secularism. Become a Christian. See you next week, God willing.